Okay, and we're back. So where we left off last time was we got the short block all done. We got the pistons, rods, all that stuff in there. I've got some video of the camshaft installation and the balance shaft installation there. So we'll look at that in a bit. The other thing that I had trouble with has to do with this camshaft retaining plate here on the front. My manual didn't show a torque spec for that. There was a torque spec for this, which was like close to 9 foot-pounds, but I didn't have one for that. So I went online, found a torque spec for that, and the torque spec was too high. They said it should be 18 foot-pounds, and that may be right for some of these, but this has a tapered fastener here, and that was too high for that. And I didn't know it, and it ended up damaging this plate. I had to get a new plate, so I was set back a little while getting a new one. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use the torque spec, the same torque spec for that as for that, which was about 9 foot-pounds. Take a look at that. We got that in there, so we can move forward with this now. The thing I want to do next is put the upper timing sprocket on, and of course we'll have to put the drive gear assembly for the balance shaft. We'll put that on, because what I want to do is I want to find out what the end play is on the camshaft here. It's about 0 right there, and then I'll just pull forward on it. I'm seeing about 2 thousandths end play on that. And in my book, the spec for that is 1 to 9 thousandths, so that's okay with me. Now we can go ahead and start assembling the front of this. So about ready to put that together. The thing to see here is that it's important that these two gears get timed together properly. And you can see a dot right there, and maybe hard to see on the camera, but there's a dot right there. And I need to line those two up. So I got my assembly lube on there and on there. Okay, so those marks are lined up. I want to get some assembly lube on those gears so they're not dry. Next thing to do is get the timing chain on there. Okay, so that timing gear kind of goes onto the snout of the crankshaft with a bit of a press fit. And I don't want to take a hammer and a socket and just hammer on that. I just don't like doing that. It's a piece of soft PVC there, and I just got this piece out of my damper removal tool, and I'm just using the factory bolt there, and we'll see if that is going to be strong enough to pull that on. Alright, so I got that gear on there. That system I was using worked pretty well right until the very end. And I did have to give it a little bit of a tap to get it fully seated on there, but it wasn't too bad. So I figure now is as good a time as any to torque these bolts here, and my book says 21 foot-pounds on that. So now that I got that pretty much assembled, let me turn this around and we'll double check that our timing marks and everything are still where they ought to be. And our marks are lined up. That's set in there pretty good. I guess our timing set is put together there. The thing I gotta remember before we go any further is to put that on there, and it's a reluctor wheel. It goes on like that. I marked that way as we disassembled it. So this has got to go on there like that. I think what I'll do next is I'll just run around there and make sure that that's oiled up pretty good, and we'll move on to installing the timing cover. Okay, the next thing I want to do before I forget is get this piece in there, which is the oil pump drive shaft. I got to put this piece onto here first. Apparently the original timing covers that came on these engines apparently are not meant to be reused. We got a new one, came with a new seal in it, and new seals on this side. And the cover also came with new fasteners and seals on them, which was kind of nice. And my book says to set those at 106 inch-pounds. I'm about ready to install the oil pan now. We've got a new oil pump on here with a new pickup tube, and I had to install that pickup tube on there, and I'd never done that before, so I didn't put that in the video. The thing I need to do now is I got a piece of clay on top of here, and I just want to set the oil pan on top of that and see if roughly what the clearance is there. So now all I want to do is just measure the thickness of that. We're about 300 thousandths there. I'm fine with that. We're moving on. There are just a couple of places on here. So this is an aluminum oil pan, and it's a molded one-piece oil pan gasket, which is nice, and it helps a lot. But there's still a couple places I'm going to put a little bit of silicone, and that's in these areas over here, just right there, and probably in through here a little bit. You know, that's just so you can see, that's the kind of... That's the kind of oil pan gasket it's got on. It's one piece. I put that in there. I've got that glued in place a little bit so that when I go to install it, it doesn't fall out. Anyway, let's just put the silicone here like I was talking about. I've already cleaned this down with brake clean. You know, it's something I'm seeing on there right now. Yeah, if they take the time to cast that into the pan, that means they probably mean it. Let me have a look around on there and make sure the gasket stayed in place. Let me get the bolts in and we'll start torquing those down. I've got the bolts in there, just finger tight. I started looking through my manual about this and how to install the oil pan on that because of that warning we saw on the front there. Good thing I did look in there because it's something I might not have noticed before. This is part of the structure in terms of how the transmission bolts to the engine. So, you know, you got your upper ones down in there, right? Like normal. But it looks like on this one, the pan actually bolts to the transmission as well. So the thing we need to be watching for, this plane of the oil pan is as parallel with the back of the engine block as possible. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that as we're tightening this thing down. Okay, so what I did was I just went through and I wrote down the number in the order of the torque sequence on that so that when I'm torquing it down, I don't have to keep going back and forth from what I'm working on to the manual over there. Alright, so I'll just go through and snug them down before I go through with the torque wrench, and at the same time we'll keep an eye on what's going on here in terms of the alignment back there. So I'm just going to go through it like that a few times until I get all the sponginess taken out of the oil pan gasket. While I'm doing it, I'll keep those alignments in check. Take a few minutes to do that. So I've gone down through and basically taken all the spring out of the gasket and just went through the torque sequence probably about 5 times. And while I was doing that, I was keeping an eye on these surfaces back here, making sure that this was flush with the back of the block the whole time. And it looks really good. Now there is a specification on how misaligned that can be. I think it was up to 10 thousandths, but basically they said make it flush. So, but we can check it. So what I got one more thing to do here before I do that is I'm going to do the final torquing on this. There's 2 nuts on the back, but the rest of them are bolts. So it looks like the bolts go to 17 foot-pounds and those 2 nuts on the back go to 18. Got them all torqued down. Now let's just have a quick look in the back there to see how we ended up in terms of the alignment between these 2 pieces. Okay, so in terms of the alignment between the pan and the block, we're going to be looking at it right here. So that's where I'm going to be looking at it. And I'm running my fingernail across that and it won't catch that way. And it just barely catches that way. And then over here, my fingernail just barely catches it that way. But not really that way. Just going to use this as a straight edge here and a 4/1000 feeler gauge. And then I'm going to go across there like this. And I'm getting 4 thousandths or less of misalignment there. Manual says you can tolerate up to 10 thousandths there, so 4 thousandths is okay. And then we'll just try to have a look over here at that area there. And really in that spot, it's really close. So have a look there anyway. And we're about the same, about 4 thousandths, maybe less. It was a little bit harder to check on this side, but it's basically flush. So I'm going to say that this pan went on right, and we can move on. And one last thing I want to do before flipping the engine back right side up, it takes this adapter here, and it's for the oil cooler lines, and it goes onto there. And we'll get a gasket on there, new O-ring around there, and just install it into that. So I can't see a torque spec for those in my manual. There's probably a torque spec for them somewhere, but my manual's not that in depth. So I'm not going to look it up on the internet again because that burned me last time. So I'm just going to go with what I think is probably going to be okay with this. Yeah, torquing that to 10 to me seems right. So that's where I'm going to leave it. A couple more things to do here and then we'll move on. Because I just want to get this all sealed up as soon as I can. I got a new oil filter there. Help get this sealed up a little bit more. I want to put some tape over these holes here also to help prevent anything from getting inside of there, because who knows how long it'll be before this engine gets actually installed in the vehicle. Okay, we're ready to flip this engine back over and get to work on the top end. I think I want to put the lifters in next. This is what I ended up getting for it. I'm just giving it a quick bath in some mineral spirits, just to rinse off any kind of factory debris or oil or whatever may be in there. And then I'll take them back out and we'll give it a bath in oil. And then I will just let that soak there for a little while. Had them soaking for, I don't know, half an hour or so. Ready to put them in. Then we got to get these in place. I don't know if they are directional or not. I mean, which side, if they're particular to one side or another. The purpose of them is to keep the lifters aligned with the lobes on the camshaft, so get them kind of sorted out like that. Let's see how we do here. Like that. Pretty nice. So those are in there. I guess the next thing to do is to have a look at our newly machined cylinder heads for this engine. So here's the cylinder heads. They're the same heads that came off the engine. Had them surfaced here. Valve job just cleaned up real nice. Checked them over myself visually. It looks like they're the same head. They got the same casting number on them. I don't think it matters too much which way they go on, but this one did have a sensor in there at some point, and I talked to the guy, and he thinks that that was the driver's side. Clean these surfaces off with some brake clean, blow them off, and we'll move on to getting them bolted in there. So I got the gasket installed there. That's the side I chose as being up. It doesn't say on it, and it looks like all the holes are lining up there. I think that's right. Let me get the head, and we'll start putting that on. So when it comes to the head bolts on this one, these should be torque to yields on here. I got a new set of head bolts, 2 boxes of them. If anybody's interested, that's the set that I got. So anyway, it looks like they come with the sealant already on them. That's good because the holes in the block are not blind. They actually go into the water jacket. Let me start running these in, and we'll talk about the way we're going to torque these down. So I got both the cylinder heads on, and the bolts are in there, but they're just hand tight. What I've done is I went through and I wrote down on the bolts the torquing sequence for them, so that it makes it easier for me to go through. I don't have to keep glancing at the torque sequence in the book. The way this one works, we torque them all in sequence to 22 foot-pounds. There are 3 different length bolts here. Got these short ones down here. Out here, there's the medium length ones, and these ones here are longer. And of course, each one of them has a different angle that they need to be turned. So what we do is we preload them with 22 foot-pounds, and then we'll turn them a certain number of degrees using that tool we saw in the previous video. Let me get started here. We'll torque these all to 22, and then we'll start going through and go the further angle on that. So let's get going there. So they're all torqued to 22. I'm just going to do an example of one. So we got our angle determining tool here, and there are 3 different length head bolts, and each one has a different angle that it needs to be turned. So the short bolts take 55 degrees, the medium length ones are 65 degrees, and the long bolts are 75. These ones here are the long bolts. That's going to take 75 degrees. That's what we're gonna do. That's at 75 degrees there. I can't go back through and check these as I go, which I tend to do with torquing things. I like to go back and double check them. Can't do that with these because it's an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little mark with my Sharpie next to the fasteners that have been torqued. And that'll tell me that that one's done. And I won't go back and do it again. I got to go through and do that process on the other 12 fasteners. Got this head all torqued down. Got to do the same thing on the other side. And then we can move on to some more valve train stuff. Now we'll move on to finishing up the valve train here. And one thing I did here was I got a new set of push rods for it. I've already eyeballed them up there and they're probably the right push rods, but I just want to make sure. Because the valve train in this engine is not really adjustable, it kind of depends on the push rods being the correct length in order to have the right preload on the valve lifter. Coming out like 7.190. It's about how long that is. That's the original one. And then this replacement rod, push rod is, oh, it's a few thousandths longer. Okay, so at least this one is about 9 thousandths longer, which kind of tells me it's probably the right one. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and start installing them. Now let me start prepping the rocker arms and we can start installing those. Okay, so we got all the rocker arms in there, just got the nuts in hand tight. Like I said, these aren't adjustable like they are on a small block Chevy. These are torque, these have a torque specification. And my book says 20 foot-pounds. My part in this whole thing is getting close to the end, but we do have a couple more things we can do before I send this engine home. Okay, so I was just about to put some oil in this and put my oil pump priming tool in there and spin the pump over and see if we got oil pressure and see if we got oil coming up through the lift or the push rods and everything. And then I realized, wait a minute, this has that that oil cooler line set up. So what if without those oil cooler lines, it'll just pump the oil out and into the catch pan down there. So I can't do that, unfortunately. I guess the next thing to do is just get the valve covers on there, and we'll be getting close to the end for me anyway. And then I'm just going to tighten those to 9 foot-pounds. So this piece would have been the last piece I needed to put on for what I'm doing with this engine. And while I was cleaning it, it's kind of got a groove there, a little bit. It's not bad from the oil seal there. So I ordered up a repair sleeve for this, but it won't be here for a few days. So because of that, I think I'm going to wrap this video up here. Let me just go back to the engine and we can finish this video up. So that's where I'm going to wrap this project up. The owner of the engine's going to finish installing it. They have the intake manifold, the exhaust manifolds, and all those bits and pieces. Probably put something over here, prevent things from falling into there during transport, but that is about it for me. Kind of an interesting engine. I learned a few things on this project. Anyway, I think that's about all I got for you this week, and I'll see you next time.